Between Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, DC Comics, Hanna-Barbera, New Line Cinema, and more, there is nearly an infinite amount of characters that player-first games could add to Multiversus from under the Warner Bros. Banner. Cross-promotion is a way to market another product by promoting within a related product, and we have already seen this with Black Adam and Beetlejuice being released right around their movies. Looking at how much Warner Bros. Releases in a year, I wanted to try and go over all the upcoming releases that I could find in 2025, and look at what we could be seeing for possible cross-promotions. Season 5 of Multiversus will start in late January, and should last until sometime in March, so we will start by looking at possible Season 5 characters. Starting off with Totally Spies. While Season 7 has already aired in the UK and France, the United States will see Season 7 in January. While not owned by Cartoon Network or Warner Bros., it is heavily associated with the brand. The obvious choices for characters here would be Sam, Clover, or Alex. There are so many gadgets you could use in their moveset from the series that could make each one of them stand apart from one another. I want to see how they interact with characters such as Agent Smith or maybe even Rick using their different technology.
These drones got serious attitude.
We also have the return of the Harley Quinn show for Season 5. We could see Poison Ivy, who I think could have one of the most unique movesets in the game, or maybe a supporting character like Clayface or even King Shark.
Harley, violence is not the answer.
In February, we will see the new Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up. And with that, we could finally see the release of Daffy Duck, who is one of the highest requested characters in the entire community. They could also throw a curveball and release Porky Pig or even Petunia Pig since they seem just as big of a part of the movie. However, I would say Daffy has a big chance of release during this period though, just due to how requested he is and is one of the few characters that still feels like they are actually missing from the game, or should have already been in it. At the time of this video, this would cover the big releases that I was able to find in the first few months of 2025.
Okie dokie, Porky, let's get crack-a-lackin'.
Season 6 of Multiversus should cover sometime from April to the start of June. Starting in April, we have the 15th anniversary of Adventure Time. I won't cover every anniversary from everything Warner Bros. Has coming up, but there are a couple hitting their 5-year marks, which is usually when companies like to celebrate. We already have several characters from Adventure Time and Multiversus, from Finn, Jake, Banana Guard, and now Marceline. Who else could they even add? Ice King is pretty demanded, but Princess Bubblegum, Flame Princess, the Lich, and others could make an appearance and all be unique fighters. Adventure Time is filled with characters that would fit perfectly into the game and all feel iconic enough to warrant a spot on the roster. If we do not see any fighters, I would not be surprised to see an in-game event to celebrate a major milestone for such a huge franchise.
Tree trunks, get those hot buns in here, girl.
Also releasing in April is another huge release from Warner Bros., a Minecraft movie. It is possible we could see promotion from that. Steve has already appeared in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so what is stopping him from appearing again in Multiversus? Or if they wanted to switch it up, they could use an enemy mob like a skeleton or a creeper or even an Enderman as a character to push the movie. Minecraft is still one of the biggest games in the world, so having some kind of cross-promotion for it just feels like an obvious idea, and it's really a missed opportunity if they can't end up pulling it off.
As a child, I yearned for the mines.
In May, we have the 20th anniversary of the life and times of Juniper Lee. Juniper Lee has experience fighting and could easily fit in with the rest of the cast with a lot of potential for a fun moveset. I can't personally see any other characters being added from the series except for the titular character, at least at first, so I'm going to say Juniper Lee would be the best fit here.
Just like Batman.
Throughout Season 6, we could see new content from Adventure Time, Minecraft, or the Life and Times of Juniper Lee and possible promotions. Next up, we have Season 7, which should cover from about June to August. Starting off is easily one of the biggest releases Warner Bros. Currently has scheduled for the year. Superman releases July 11th, and there's a lot of representation we could see here for cross-promotion. The two most obvious choices, at least for me, would be Lex Luthor or Supergirl. Lex Luthor is the villain of the movie and is such an iconic character that sits up there with Joker to me. It is also his 85th anniversary, so a lot of things are lining up for a great way to introduce him. I hope to see him in the game, and if they do add him, I hope to see more of a tech-based side of him and not the giant power armor that a lot of interpretations like to put him in. Supergirl is another one I could see being likely. She is rumored to have her first appearance in the film, and will receive her own solo film roughly a year later in 2026. Either way, I can see her coming to the game within that year period. Other choices from the film that could also appear as cross-promotion could be Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern, Metamorpho, or even someone like the Engineer. The new Superman movie seems like such an obvious pick for cross-promotion with such iconic characters being part of it, and it also being first major release for the new DC Cinematic Universe. I would say some kind of promotion for this film is basically guaranteed. In July, we also see the 20th anniversary of Camp Lazlo. I don't know how likely Camp Lazlo is to get into Multiversus, but I have a lot of fond memories of the series, and it would personally be such a cool one to see for me. Lazlo, Raj, or Clam being the main characters feel like the most likely, but Scoutmaster Lumpus could have a hilarious moveset. I think a character could also be unique in a way that their moveset would revolve a lot around camp items, and maybe they could also have some fun interactions with Jason Voorhees.
He carried me 7 miles when I broke his leg. Lazlo taught me how to laugh again.
Camp Lazlo isn't the only series we have in July with an anniversary, and this other one I have seen a lot of requests for. We Bare Bears will have its 10th anniversary, and in those 10 years, it got a movie and a spin-off show. Ice Bear is who I would consider the most likely to appear, but would not be surprised if we saw Panda or Grizzly too. They could maybe even attempt a Powerpuff Girls and have the 3 characters in one, but I do think they have enough potential to all be separate if they want to go that route too.
Ice Bear is in.
Yeah!
Season 7 could see Superman, Camp Lazlo, or We Bare Bears promotions during its course. Season 8 of Multiversus should be somewhere from August until October or maybe November. During this period, we have Peacemaker Season 2 in August. Peacemaker blew up in popularity with the Suicide Squad movie, and his show was a huge success too. Pushing him for Season 2 of the show just makes sense, and we've already seen him appear in Mortal Kombat 1 as DLC. Using his different helmets and weapons has so much potential for one of the most wacky characters we have seen so far. I would love to see how he interacts with basically any of the rest of the roster, and I think there's a lot of fun to be had with it too.
Said you were a superhero like Batman.
Moving on to a very different genre from what we have talked about so far, we have The Conjuring Last Rites in September. This could be a good time to see our second representation from a horror franchise, and could see someone like Volek. Jason Voorhees felt impossible when he was announced for the game, but now other horror reps don't feel impossible at all. The Conjuring is an iconic series that has several movies and spin-offs focusing on all kinds of different events and time periods. There's a lot you could pull from that could make a unique moveset for this character.
Sister, please. This way.
The Conjuring Last Rites isn't the only opportunity we have in September, as Regular Show's 15th anniversary is also during that month. If we do not get Mordecai or Rigby before this point, this needs to happen. Both are still in the top 5 most requested characters for the game and feel like they must be coming at some point within the year. It would suck having to wait that long still, but we need Regular Show characters in the game, and this would be the perfect opportunity if they're still not in. If we already have Mordecai and Rigby, seeing another character such as Muscle Man, Skips, or Benson could all be other great choices for the roster. It feels like Regular Show should be pushed in the game just as heavily as Adventure Time or Steven Universe has been. We need to see it as soon as possible. Moving on to October, we have Mortal Kombat 2. This is another franchise I am surprised we have not yet seen come to the game. It feels perfect to introduce. Just take the characters from the game that already have movesets and move them over. Obviously there's a bit more work to it, but they have plenty of moves across the entire series that should be easy to translate. If somehow we do not have a Mortal Kombat rep by October, this would be another great chance to introduce them. Throw in Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sonya Blade, Mileena, Katana, Shao Kahn, or really any other iconic character from the series, and fans will be happy. Either way, Mortal Kombat feels like another one of those franchises behind Warner that is completely missing from the game and needs to have a big splash. Between Peacemaker, The Conjuring, Regular Show, and Mortal Kombat 2, it seems like Season 8 of Multiversus could be a potential huge moment for the game if they leaned into these celebrations. Season 9 of Multiversus should be towards the end of the year, and we don't have a lot of ideas on what Warner may still have to release during this time period, but there are 2 anniversaries that do hit during this time that we could possibly be looking at. The first is My Gym Partner's a Monkey. Not sure how likely this series is, but like Camp Lazlo, I personally remember it well. I'd assume the only real likely representative for this would be Jake Spider-Monkey, but who knows what they have planned.
Well, here we are.
The other anniversary during December is one of the biggest ones yet, Ben 10's 20th anniversary. Easily the most requested character in the entire game. If he somehow doesn't make it into the game before this point, it would be the best winter gift. End 2025 off with a bang and finally add Ben 10. I'm assuming this is difficult, and the reason he isn't already in is because there are so many generations of Ben and of course so many different aliens, so which ones do you even include? I personally think they should treat Ben 10 like the Link of the series and have young, teen, and adult versions all with their own movesets and aliens, but I know a lot of people disagree with that. They could also add Gwen or Kevin or even Vilgax as possible representation, and they could all have a huge splash coming to the game too. Ben 10 is very clearly missing from the game at the moment, and I think he is basically guaranteed to be added by the end of 2025 due to the anniversary, if he doesn't make it in before that point.
Time to turn up the heat blast on these guys.
Of course, at the time of this video, there are many shows or movies or events that do not have any release date and could fall any time within this year, and we should talk about some of those too. Toto is an upcoming animated film set to release in 2025, and is a retelling of The Wizard of Oz from Toto's point of view. This could be a perfect time to introduce the Wicked Witch, Dorothy, or even someone like the Tin Man if they wanted to.
Toto? I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Of course, we also have Rick and Morty Season 8, which is also scheduled to premiere in 2025. We are missing several family members still from Summer, Beth, and Jerry, but maybe they could pull out a surprise and make Mr. Meeseeks, Mr. Nimbus, or even Mr. Poopy Butthole as a character. There really are a ton of characters to pull from the series, and I think plenty more could plug into the roster rather easily. I could probably sit 20 people down in a room and tell them to give me a different Rick and Morty character and end up thinking that every single one of them could have a fun moveset in the game. Of course, in 2025, we also have the long-awaited return of Gumball for Season 7. The show has been on a break since 2019, with them working on a movie for a while. Season 6 ended on a huge cliffhanger, so fans have been excited to see what happens next. Gumball is a very fun and funny show, and both Gumball and Darwin are higher up as some of the most requested characters for the game. Seeing them sometime in 2025 would be huge for fans of the series, and also for fans of Multiversus. Of course, there are brand new shows coming in 2025 too. One brand new show coming is Ayanu, Child of Wonder. Ayanu is a series about a teenager who discovers new powers and must save her people, the people of Yorubaland, from an ancient curse. The series is based off a graphic novel, but unfortunately I do not know more about it besides that. Overall, the animation is looking great, and it seems Ayanu could be both a great cross-promotion and unique character with her abilities. Another new show that is coming out in 2025 is Lana Longbird, which is about a young Viking who travels across the 10 realms with her dad and his crew of rogues. Overall, it is looking like it could be a cute comedic series, and the character design feels very unique, enough with the potential to fit right in with the cast of characters we have. Plus, who doesn't want to play as a Viking? Going back in time a bit, we have another series that is getting a new season during the year. Primal will premiere its 3rd season, and that would be a great time to introduce Spear or Fang, or maybe even introduce both together. This series has been critically acclaimed, and Season 3 seems to be starting a brand new chapter of the story. This can mean maybe we will even see that brand new character in the show as a possible representative. Returning back to Superman, My Adventures with Superman Season 3 should air during 2025. Minor spoilers, but for those that don't know, Lex Luthor is becoming a bigger threat, which again fits in with his 85th anniversary and a perfect time to introduce him if he isn't in the game for the Superman movie. Other characters could again be Supergirl, who was huge during Season 2, or Deathstroke, who has been around since the start of the show. There are a lot of other characters you could work with, like Brainiac, Heatwave, and Parasite, among others, but I would say Lex Luthor, Supergirl, and Deathstroke have the highest chance of being added to the game for cross-promotion.
But we have...
And we'll always have each other!
A blast from the past, in a show we haven't seen in a long time, Foster's Fun Time for Imaginary Friends, a younger version of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, will be finally released during the year. This will be the perfect time to introduce Blue, as he is one of the major parts of the new show. But even with Blue being one of the very, very few characters returning from the original show, maybe we see Eduardo, Coco, or Wilt. Personally, I'm all for Wilt being added to the game so we get another basketball character. The dream of a basketball duo is calling.
You got any friends?
Besides Valak, another horror icon has his chance to come to Multiversus during the year. This would be Pennywise, as Welcome to Derry, a show based on the history of Derry and how Pennywise has been tormenting the town for ages, will be released. I've seen a lot of requests for the clown floating around, pun intended, and would love to put him up against Jason in a one-on-one fight.
Play a game with me, would you?
Switching it up a little bit, maybe not as a new character, but Aztec Batman Clash of Empires will also release during 2025. Obviously they can make this work as a character due to how different of an idea this is, but I have seen people tired of how many Batman characters we already have, and adding another one at the moment may not be the best idea. At the very least, I hope to see Batman and Joker variants from the film appear because they are very cool to see, and the movie is shaping up to be something very different in a good way. Overall, there is a lot releasing in 2025. There is still a lot that could be announced for next year that does not have a date or reveal yet. Obviously, we will not see all of these series and movies get a representative into Multiversus during the year, but it is cool to know what is upcoming and what we could possibly end up seeing. I think everyone listed in the video could have a very strong presence in the game, and it just gives me more hope as the roster continues to evolve that the game will end up being something insane. Which of these characters do you hope to see come to the game during the year? Let me know your favorites, or maybe even what characters you were surprised to see on the list in the comments down below. Also, if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe too.